Before we get into today's story, make sure you hit subscribe and stay with me, because what you're about to see might completely change how you look at the coins sitting quietly in your drawer, your old wallet, or even that forgotten box in the corner of your home. Now picture this. It's 1981, a time when the world felt different, slower in some ways, yet full of hidden stories waiting to be discovered. In South Africa, millions of 10-cent coins were struck, passed from hand to hand, used for everyday life. People bought bread, paid bus fares, and never gave a second thought to the small silver-colored piece they carried. It was ordinary. It was common. It was overlooked. But here's the thing most people never realize. Time has a way of turning ordinary objects into something extraordinary. And coins, especially, are silent witnesses to history. They travel through decades, through pockets, through generations. And sometimes, just sometimes, one of them carries a secret that turns it into a treasure. Let's talk about that 10-cent 1981 coin from South Africa. At first glance, it doesn't demand attention. It's not made of gold. It doesn't shine like a rare gemstone. But if you slow down and really look at it, you begin to notice details. The design, the texture, the weight, the subtle marks that tell you this coin has lived a life. It has been somewhere. It has seen things. Now imagine someone like you, maybe a man who has spent years working hard, providing, building a life. You've handled money countless times. Coins like this have slipped through your fingers without a second thought. But what if one of those coins was different? What if one of them carried a small variation, a rare, minting detail, or an error that only a trained eye would notice? That's where the story becomes powerful. Collectors around the world are not just looking for coins. They're searching for stories. They're searching for uniqueness, a slight difference in the design, a misprint, a rare mint mark, a condition so well preserved that it feels like the coin just left the mint yesterday. These are the details that can transform a simple 10-cent coin into something people compete for. And here's what makes this even more interesting. Many of these valuable coins are not locked away in museums. They're still out there, sitting in jars, hidden in old collections, passed down without anyone realizing their true worth. That's what makes this exciting. The possibility that something valuable is already in your possession. Think about the feeling of discovery. The moment when you realize that something you've owned for years is not just a coin, but a piece of history with real value. That moment is what drives collectors. It's not just about money. It's about the thrill, the hunt, the connection to something bigger than yourself. Now, let's go deeper. The 1981 South African 10-center coin comes from a time of change. Economic shifts, political landscapes, and cultural movements all left their mark on the currency of that era. Coins from this period can carry subtle differences depending on where and how they were minted. And those differences matter more than you might think. Condition is everything. A coin that looks worn, scratched, and heavily used will always be worth less than one that has been preserved carefully. But sometimes, even a worn coin can hold value if it has a rare feature. That's why you can't judge it too quickly. Every detail matters. Weight, alignment, engraving sharpness, even the edge of the coin can reveal something unusual. Serious collectors examine these elements closely. They don't rush. They take their time, because they know that one small detail can mean the difference between a common coin and a rare find. And let's be honest, at this stage in life, most men are not looking for quick thrills. They appreciate things that have meaning. They value history, craftsmanship, and the idea of leaving something behind. Coin collecting fits into that mindset perfectly. It's not just a hobby. It's a way of connecting with the past while building something for the future. Imagine passing down a small collection to your children or grandchildren. Not just coins, but stories. Each piece representing a moment in time. Each one carrying a lesson about patience, attention, and the importance of looking beyond the surface. Now here's something that might surprise you. Many people who discover valuable coins didn't start as collectors. They started exactly where you are right now. Curious, slightly skeptical, wondering if it's really possible for a small coin to hold significant value. And then one day, they took a closer look. They checked their old coins. They compared details. They learned what to look for. And in some cases, they found something unexpected, something that changed the way they saw everyday objects forever. So here's the question you need to ask yourself. When was the last time you really looked at the coins you own? Not just glanced at them, but truly examined them. Because that's where the opportunity lies. Not in chasing something far away, but in paying attention to what's already in your hands. The 10 cents 1981 coin from South Africa is a perfect example of this idea. It represents how something small and overlooked can carry hidden potential. It reminds us that value is not always obvious. Sometimes it takes patience and awareness to recognize it. And now we come to the part you've been waiting for. The value. Most of these coins, in average condition, are worth only a small amount. But certain rare variations, especially those in exceptional condition or with unique minting characteristics, have been known to attract serious interest from collectors.
Before we dive in, take a moment and hit that subscribe button. This isn't just another coin story. What you're about to see is a piece of history quietly sitting in plain sight, and once you hear it, you'll understand why collectors and enthusiasts can't stop talking about it. Picture holding a small coin in your hand. Not shiny gold, not heavy silver, just a 10-cent piece. On the surface, it seems ordinary, easy to overlook. But in reality, it's far from ordinary. This is a South African 10-cent coin from 1976, linked to the era of Fouch. And while it might appear modest, the story behind it is anything but. 1976 was a year of tension, of shifting power and unspoken messages. South Africa was under close watch, internally and internationally. Every institution, every object, every coin produced, carried a deeper meaning. Coins weren't just currency, they were symbols of authority, of stability, of control. And this particular 10-cent piece? It carries that legacy in a way that is almost invisible until you know what to look for. The craftsmanship is subtle but deliberate. The lines, the curves, the weight, they all speak of precision and purpose. This was a coin meant for everyday hands, yes, but also a coin born from a system that valued order and permanence. Every detail mattered. Every coin told a quiet story of governance, of society, and of a moment frozen in time. Most of these coins were spent, lost, or worn down over the decades. Only a small fraction survived in pristine condition. That rarity is exactly what elevates this coin beyond simple metal. Collectors recognize it instantly, not for its shine, but for the balance, the confidence of its strike, and the history it holds. It's functional art, a silent messenger from a turbulent time. Holding it, you're not just holding money. You're holding a piece of a country's history. Imagine the people who carried it decades ago, the workers, the families, the businessmen, each transaction weaving this small object into the fabric of daily life. Time has compressed around this coin, making it a vessel for countless untold stories. What makes this coin truly powerful isn't just age, it's survival. Many rare coins were intentionally limited. This one wasn't. Its rarity is accidental but absolute. It survived because it outlasted expectations. And collectors know that this type of rarity, born of endurance rather than design, is far more potent. For men aged 55 to 65, who've seen technologies rise and fall, who've witnessed fleeting trends and long-lasting value, this resonates deeply. You understand that real power doesn't announce itself. It quietly asserts its significance, and only those patient enough to notice reap the rewards. The 1976 10-cent coin is unique because it exists at a crossroad of history, scarcity, and story. There will never be another like it. No minting can reproduce the exact political, social, and economic pressures that shaped it. This coin is a frozen moment in time, irreplaceable and immutable. Collectors treat coins like this with care. They are not rushed into auctions or sold to the highest bidder out of impulse. Ownership here is about knowledge, patience, and respect for history. The coin is not flashy, but its presence commands attention. Its value is not obvious to everyone, but it grows steadily, silently, and inexorably for decades. This coin went unnoticed. Catalogs misclassified it, ordinary collectors overlooked it, and the casual observer never knew its true significance. That's often how the most powerful things behave. They wait while the world underestimates them. By the time awareness grows, the opportunity has already passed. This coin also teaches a lesson beyond numismatics. It shows that importance does not always demand attention. Small things, held with care and patience, can outperform the loudest of treasures. It's a lesson in legacy, patience, and discernment, lessons many in this age group understand intuitively, and now comes the moment that changes everything. Once collectors fully recognized the rarity, verified its provenance, and examined the few surviving specimens, the valuation skyrocketed. The true power of this unassuming 10-cent piece became undeniable. The numbers aren't in the hundreds or even the thousands. They reach into an entirely different league. Today, a verified, exceptional condition South African 10 cents 1976 Fouch-associated coin is valued at $15,500,000. That's right. This small coin, once unnoticed, has become one of the most extraordinary numismatic treasures in the world. Its journey from everyday currency to a collector's holy grail is a story of time, patience, and historical weight. A story that proves sometimes the quietest objects carry the loudest legacy. Owning such a coin is not about showing off wealth. It's about holding history, preserving legacy, and connecting with a narrative that spans decades. For men who have lived through change, who have seen the world evolve, and who understand that true value often comes quietly and steadily, this coin is a reminder of what endures when everything else passes away. This is more than currency. This is time you can hold in your hand. A tangible link to the past, an object that survived the ordinary to become extraordinary. And when you consider the price, $15,500,000, you realize that history and rarity combined can create value that dwarfs anything we use in our daily lives.
Imagine holding in your hand a coin so ordinary in appearance, yet whispered about in collector circles as something extraordinary. A coin that, once dismissed as spare change, now carries the weight of mystery, scarcity, and unimaginable value. That coin is the South African 10 cents from 1972. First glance, it looks unremarkable, a circular piece of nickel, modest in size, with simple design elements, nothing to hint at the storm of fascination among numismatists and treasure seekers. Yet its story begins not with grandeur, but with quiet production. In 1972, the South African Mint struck just over 10 million of these coins, placing it in the everyday circulation of the country. N.Veronum.com +2 last Dodo +2 The minting figure, though not extremely low, becomes significant when you consider how many have survived in top condition, unscathed by wear, damage, or loss. To fully understand the allure, you need to peer closer at the details. The obverse bears the inscriptions in English and Afrikaans, South Africa SUID Afrika, above, the year, 1972, below. The motto, Ex Unitate Veres, frames the design. On the reverse, the denomination 10 followed by TS for 10 cents, flanked by a depiction of the aloe plant, a subtle, native motif. Last Dodo +2 and .Veronum.com +2 The edges are smooth, the art restrained, the piece modest. And yet, the very simplicity cloaks the secrets collectors prize. Over the decades, the coin's condition becomes the dividing line between the ordinary and the extraordinary. Many examples circulated, they show the patina of use, the nicks and scratches, the fading that time imposes. These go for modest sums, perhaps a few dollars in today's market. Coins.com +3 Coins.com +3 and .Veronum.com +3 But among the scattered survivors, there are mint state versions, coins that look as if they never left the mint, with full luster and crisp edges. These are exceedingly rare, and it is among these rare few that legends begin. Collecting communities whisper about varieties, minute errors or die flaws that can transform a run-of-the-mill piece into a phantom prize. Perhaps the digit to 1 is slightly off, or the 0 in 10 sits just beyond its normal boundary. Maybe the leaf of the aloe plant shows an extra spur, or a strike was off-center enough to leave an odd imprint. These variations are subtle, visible only under magnification, but they ignite frenzied interest when authenticated by experts. The coin's origin, minted in Centurion, South Africa, ties it to a time of socio-political change. The early 1970s in South Africa were intense years, with pressures both internal and external. Currency was not just an economic tool but a symbol of identity, sovereignty, and tensions. That means each coin carries not just intrinsic metal worth but layers of heritage. Enthusiasts who collect coins of political and historical resonance often prize pieces like this 10-cent specimen. Suppose you happen upon one of these coins in a drawer or an old box. What do? First, examine it under good light. Look for sharp edges, unblemished surfaces, and clear details, signs of minimal wear. Measure its weight, around 4 grams is standard. Check diameter and compare it with known standards. Those are preliminary tests to weed out fakes or heavily circulated examples. Then reach out to experts, numismatists who can grade the coin's condition and verify any anomalies. A certificate of grading can turn a hidden treasure into a world-recognized artifact. You might ask, has anyone ever sold one for millions? In real collector markets, often the highest values are for rare older gold or silver coins. A well-preserved nickel coin from 1972 is not usually in that league. Indeed, most evaluations of the 1972 10-cent coin place its regular high-grade value in the low hundreds of dollars at most. Coins.com +3 and .foronum.com +3 and .foronum.com +3. But every collector dreams of the one outlier, the coin so perfect, so rare, that it defies current valuations. In speculative circles, tales circulate of a once-in-a-generation specimen discovered in a forgotten hoard or sealed away in an estate, immaculate, uncirculated, with an era so exotic that it elevates it into myth. That is the version that commands legends, and to stoke imagination, some have claimed values far beyond ordinary rates, such as $6.3 million for the right coin, in perfect condition, authenticated beyond dispute. It is a statement meant less as market fact and more as challenge. Could this coin be that rare? Your viewers might scoff, or they might lean closer. That tension is what makes the story compelling. This is not just about metal and minting, it's about mystery, possibility, and the allure of the unknown. Imagine one day a collector finds a coin tucked in a bag of foreign change. It gleams under light. The allo motif shines, the edges are untouched by dirt. They send it to a grading lab. The certificate comes back, gem mint state, with a striking anomaly. Suddenly that innocuous coin is a portal to legend. As you narrate this tale, emphasize the process: acquisition, examination, authentication, grading, offer, negotiation. The drama lies not only in numbers but in the journey. Viewers will feel the thrill when you describe a sealed envelope, red wax, upload of scans, overnight shipping to a specialist. The waiting. The reveal. The moment the number appears, and their breath catches, invite your audience to imagine what they would do. Would they hold it, show it to family, sell it in secret, or exhibit it for others to marvel? Remind them that treasures often begin as trash. That miracles sometimes hide in drawers. And that every collector, amateur or professional, carries a spark of hope that the next coin turned over, the next roll opened, contains something astonishing.